It seems that Capcom isn't able to catch a break when it comes to the reviewers assigned for their Mega Man franchise titles on the App Store. While Mega Man 2 is Dave's favourite from the series, at least on its original console, Mega Man X was, and still is, my personal favourite. With this in mind, the iOS release of the title was more than welcome, and still a blast to play through. But like so many of the developers' releases on the App Store, it suffers for its disregard of the platform and its lack of finesse. Initially, the iOS version comes off as visually resplendent, borrowing from the PSP remake of the game. However, the illusion is quickly broken by the less than smooth frame rate. In fairness, it does remain consistent, but consistently low, and missing visual effects that rounded out the game's appearance in the 18-year-old original. An option to revert from full screen to a zoomed out perspective can help with the controls obscuring the screen in boss battles, but no option to switch back to the 16-bit graphics is currently available, and players also have to manually flip the screen within the options, an altogether antiquated requirement these days. Oddly, the modern visuals are paired with the classic SNES soundtrack, but if you're willing to absorb the sting of another purchase, you can play with a preloaded set of modern tracks. This isn't the first of the odd purchases either, and despite being available through the normal course of play, the player can put down cash to sidestep the collection of weapons from bosses, heart and sub-tanks, as well as item upgrades for Mega Man himself. This is extremely odd considering the lenient difficulty of the game itself, with many concessions being made for the iOS platform and its less than perfect control system. This on top of the game already being relatively easy by the series' standards. At least some of these concessions make sense. Auto-fire bullets, auto-charge weapons, and can be toggled as required for those who want more finesse or challenge. This still doesn't address the toned-down difficulty of the enemies themselves or the removal of level-changing consequences, such as defeating Chill Penguin and gaining access to the hidden items on Flame Mammoth's stage. Additional features in the form of a score attack mode and achievements add some lasting value, but given the loose controls and generously forgiving difficulty, their value is limited. One shouldn't be too snobbish about something like this though. Ultimately, this is Mega Man X on iOS devices, and while it's not on par with its ancient forebear, it still features much of what made the game entertaining. Nostalgic fans may not be overwhelmed by this release, but it's still Mega Man, and that may be good enough to warrant a playthrough. This has been Andrew with AppSpy.com. We review, you decide.